By clicking on this video, you have made the greatest decision in your life. I want to welcome you to the greatest medieval game you have yet to play. This is called Lionhearts Crusade. Now, I know what you're thinking. Apollo, I'm not going to play this silly Roblox game. It's for kids. I used to feel exactly the same way until I played a couple cool Roblox games and I realized, wow, there's a lot of potential here. Let me put it this way. So when Pixar makes movies, they used to say, when they were good, they used to say story is king. Everything else comes second. Now, when it comes to video games, for me, mechanics are king. Everything else comes second. The graphics, they just need to be good enough to where I can fill in the gaps with my imagination, and that's what Roblox is. And it's kind of charming. You know, it's cute. It's whatever. It's goofy. It's silly. Doesn't matter. The mechanics are epic. So what is Lionhearts Crusade, and why do I think it's so good? Well, it's a good way to explain or compare it to other games is Mountain Blade Persistent World. It's an open sandbox MMO RPG with constant real-time wars going on amongst like about 16 factions, something around there. So you have these factions fighting over for territory, and at the same time you are just a soldier trying to get by, making money, fighting in wars, crafting weapons, and joining your fellow comrades into battle for whatever faction you're fighting for. Now, this game has a lot going on. It's not a shallow game. It's not a simple little arcadey game. It's got a lot of depth. And I'm going to do my best to explain, kind of just explain the game in a nutshell to you guys, so you kind of have an idea what to expect going in to when you, when you make your character. Now, do not skip the video. I am begging you guys, do not skip the video. Watch the entirety of the video. I will go as quick as possible explaining the video into 3 different parts, okay? The first part is going to be War and Conquest. You guys are going to love that part. The second part is trading and gold, the economy. How does it work? There's an actual living economy in the game. It's very cool. Number 3 is the MMO elements of the game. Also, guys, I'm going to have a promo code which I'll share at the end of the video. Do not miss this. You will get some bonus gold. Do not miss it, okay? It's very important. So let's get started, guys. Let's start with War and Conquest. So like I said earlier, there are many factions, as we speak right now, are brutally fighting each other for territory, for wealth, for power. And look at you, you're just sitting here doing nothing. Your potential favorite faction is in your need. They need your help. And yeah, you can join these really cool factions and take part in these really cool battles. So it's really simple. Once you get into the game, you'll have an option to join your favorite faction. Like I said, there's tons of cool factions. This is mostly medieval factions based around the Crusades. So you have a lot of Western factions like Sicily, France, England. You have Eastern Christian factions like the Byzantine Empire, Antioch. You have Muslim factions like the Ayyubid Sultanate, and they have more. So those are just, to list a few. So definitely pick your favorite faction. Once you join a faction, you can leave, right? You can leave for whatever reason. If you don't like the faction, you can leave. But there is a cost. So when you join a faction, you start off at 0, and you have to work your way up and kind of prove to your faction that you're a worthy soldier or farmer or blacksmith or whatever role you want to take in your faction, whatever role you want to play as in that specific faction. If you want to leave that faction and join someone else, well, you lose all that progress, and it's like starting over, and you got to reprove yourself to the new faction. So I recommend just pick something that you are really interested in, like faction wise, and just stick with it. But you're not stuck with it. You can change different factions. So this is the campaign map, and on this campaign map there are multiple territories which you can take over by attacking villages, strongholds, outposts. You can attack these locations and slowly gain territory for your faction real time. So if you get on with a bunch of your friends and fellow countrymen, you can go out and wreak havoc on an enemy, and you can go and attack their settlements, and it's really cool when you do. There are AI defenders, so you do have to defeat the AI defenders, but there could also be human players there defending the village, so that's something you have to look out for. So you have to fight through them and then capture a flag, and once you capture it, it is now your country's territory. So you can do this and just gobble up some territory. Now there is another way of gaining major cities. So if you look at this map, notice all the circles. Those are all the the various villages and whatnot. There's also a line going through these circles. So what that line represents is the path you have to take a faction's major city. Now, you can tell when a territory is a major city by the special border around the circle. So you have to push through and conquer all the villages and the connecting dots that lead to the main city. Now, when you attack the main city, it creates this epic battle event, right? So this event, all the players that are involved with this battle, the attacking players, the defending players, will be notified. And they will be able to join this event and get ready to either attack or defend this city. So it's going to start off with a pitch battle, and the winner of the pitch battle will then attack that city. So you guys remember, if you've been watching me for a while, I did Mountain Blade campaigns, and that's exactly how we did it. We would start with the pitch battle, and whoever wins the pitch battle then gets to attack a settlement. And so they would be the attackers, the losers would be the defenders, and it's essentially very similar to that. So it's a really cool event to take major big cities, and it's just really fun because all the players will get notified, and it'll create these really big, epic, dynamic battles that you don't want to miss out on. And in a nutshell, there's a lot more nuance and detail to Conquest, and there's also diplomacy when it comes to Conquest. You want to make sure you're not attacking a faction that has a peace treaty or non-aggression pact that you have, with them. So make sure you're not just going out and killing whoever. But there's definitely some nuance. But that is the nutshell, the gist is what I was trying to say. The gist of Conquest and how the territories kind of work and how you conquer land for your faction. But also be careful, guys, because many times in this game where a faction has grown too strong, all the nations, it's kind of like a balance of power. All the other nations threatened by them will team up. They will team up and harass and push back this new powerful faction. Now, if you're wondering what faction I'm going to join as, well, stay till the end. Though, don't worry about what I'm doing. Join the faction that you want to join and try to improve it the best you can. So now we're going to talk about the economy of the game, the trading in the game, and how you actually make money. So when you join a faction, that faction actually pays you money to be a part of it. And with that money, you can buy, potions, and you can buy weapons, and you can buy all kinds of stuff at local markets. So it's an in-game actual economy that, a lot of games that have this type of setup has a lot of inflation problems because the developers will just print money, right, so to speak. They'll just give out money to where items become very expensive, or they'll cost a lot because the value of the gold is weakened by all this free money they just give out all the time. But this game actually has a deflation problem where the value always seems to be going up to where things, are technically, you know what I mean? Inflation, deflation. I hope I'm not confusing. But anyways, it's a little side note because in the game, you will be paid money to serve a faction. And the cool thing is it's always up to the king on how much money their individual soldiers make. So a king or whatever, whoever runs the faction, which is usually someone who's extremely active and they're kind of voted into that position, but they get to set the taxes and they set the wages for the soldiers. So maybe you want to join a faction that pays the most. Maybe you're just in it for the gold. Well, you can do that. You can do that and pick a faction that's wealthy and they'll pay their soldiers a lot of gold. So that is how you will start generating income in the game. Now, you can also get gold by using the ROBLOX bucks. It's, the ROBLOX money, like actual money. So you'll pay for ROBLOX bucks and then you convert that into gold for the game. That's why it doesn't really have an inflation problem in the game, because that's how more gold is created with real money. But again, you don't have to do that to get gold. It's just if you want to have extra gold to buy XP boost or weapons or whatever, you can do that. So I think that's really cool that that's a system in the game. And now I want to talk about kind of how factions make money. So obviously the factions have to pay for all their soldiers. So the question is, well, how do they get money? Well, factions make money through trade. If you make a trade in a, let's just say France, we'll use them as an example. If you buy something at a market in French territory, X% of that trade is taxed and goes towards that kingdom. So, if you have a very low tax, merchant type players might favor your kingdom because the tax is very low and they can make more money, but that also means more money for your kingdom because you have more merchants going to that kingdom and selling items. So there'll be markets in all the cities and villages and stuff. So if you're a merchant and you go to that city, you can put up items in that like merchant area, and you can put how much you want for the items, and other players can come by and buy those items, and you instantly make that transaction. And of course the kingdom gets that that tax on that purchase. There's also a location in the game, it's like the hub of the game where players go to kind of socialize, and it's kind of like a neutral ground where you can't conquer it and you can't fight anyone there, and it's a huge market. So it's Messina, it's at Sicily, it's Messina, and at Messina you can sell items there, and a lot of players will go there to buy different things, whatever they need to buy. And what makes Messina interesting is that who gets the money, right? So when the taxes go out after purchases, the money actually goes to the weakest faction. So if there's a very weak faction, they're oftentimes very rich because the taxes from the neutral hub, the neutral marketplace, is going towards that faction. And sometimes what happens is players will see that and they'll go, hey, they'll like, hey, we're going to join this faction because they're going to pay us a lot of money to serve them. And that kind of helps. It kind of helps the balance of power in the game. If a very weak faction has been weak for a long time, they're going to have lots of money. Now, another thing you can do with money as a king or as a leader of a faction is that you can hire mercenaries. Isn't that so cool? That is so cool. So you can serve as a mercenary, and spoiler alert, that's what I'm doing. I have a mercenary group. And if you really want to play with me, if you really want to fight with me, well, get your faction leader to hire my men as mercenaries. So it's really cool. Basically the mercenaries have a there's a location in the game in the menu where you can hire mercenaries. They have their budget, like how much it's going to cost and how many days they'll serve. Once those days, like if you purchase my mercenary group to serve your nation, after 3 days, the service is over. And if you want more, you want my support more, you have to continue to sign a new contract, so to speak. So that's another way you can make money, is being a mercenary and just kind of being a menace. You know, maybe setting up ambushes in the road because there are supply wagons going here, and merchants traveling, going to different cities, and you can kind of harass the players by being a mercenary. But be careful, you don't want to make angry, piss off the wrong guys. So that is another way to make money, is being a mercenary. And what happens is that the mercenary lord, the captain of the mercenaries, will get all the money, and then he distributes all that money to who's in his mercenary party. And that is a very rough, quick, in a nutshell type of view of the economy. It's a little bit more nuanced, like again with the Conquest. I don't want to spend too much time in this video explaining every tiny detail, but just know that there is a working economy in the game, and it is very fascinating and very cool how it runs in this game. So finally, we are going to talk about the MMO elements of the game, and then we are going to, I'm going to really quickly explain how to get started in the game and give you that awesome promo code, so don't miss out on that. So the game is going to have a lot of MMO elements. So not only can you be a part of a grander campaign, like a military campaign, but you can also go off and do side quests in this game. Now, this is part of the game that still needs a lot of progress on. As of right now, there's only one quest in the game, and that is the tutorial quest, which you will play when you start a character. It's actually really cool, and it just kind of shows you the potential of these quests. And you'll go off and do these missions, and it's like an RPG. It's like you just go off and do your own thing and try to gain some gold or experience doing that quest. And to my understanding, they're going to release quests slowly, so they'll kind of have like for MMO, say like if you've ever played the Elder Scrolls Online, they kind of release new like quest lines that you can do, and it sounds like they're going to do something similar. So if you're a player that maybe you don't really care too much about the world conquest and you just want to kind of take part in the quest, which I don't think a lot of you guys are like that, but maybe you are, maybe you like both, well, you can go off and do quests, and then you have your skill sets here. And the way the skills work is really whatever you use. So if you use a big two-handed axe, you'll work on your big two-handed axe skill. If you want to specialize, and it's good to specialize in one thing, because the game is grindy, and that is a good thing, because you don't want players good at everything, because it kind of kills the dynamics of different jobs in the game. So if you really want good equipment, good arrows, good swords and shields, I would say every faction should invest into a blacksmith player. That way the player can craft weapons, get better at that skill, and then eventually craft some really good equipment. And the cool thing about this game is that the developers didn't really necessarily have that in mind. For example, during battles, there's like a tonic or like herbs that you can give other players as health. And players have come up with roles on their own where they basically have like battlefield medics that run around and give potions and health to soldiers that are low on health. And that's not something they intended to make. It's just this world they ended up creating, if you get what I'm saying. So I definitely recommend trying to pick a role that you want to go with. If you just want to fight in battles and you don't really care too much about farming or mining, which you can do in the game. You can mine and gather resources and give it to the blacksmith, and that will help you earn status within the kingdom. But if you don't really care about that and you just want to get on and fight, then don't worry about it. Just get on and fight, and you're going to improve the skills of fighting. So you're probably sitting here thinking, all right, I'm so ready to play. Let's do this. All right, well, hold on. I got a promo code for you. All right, this is huge because you're going to start off with a little bit of a bonus. You'll get gold. I believe it's like 50 gold. You'll get tools, which is great for mining. You'll get a weapon skin, and you will get a emote for free. So you just got to use the promo code Apollo when creating your character and getting started, and you will get all those free stuff when you get into this great chaotic medieval world. And this code is going to expire in 1 week, okay? So you have 1 week to create your account and use that code. After a week, it is gone, so don't miss out. And also, guys, I'm going to be out there playing. I'm going to be out there playing. So you might be wondering, how do I join your mercenary group? Well, I can only have 30 people. So there's a max of 30 people per mercenary group. And I'm going to dedicate most of the space to YouTube members, but I don't think I will fill up the entire mercenary group with just YouTube members. I don't think enough YouTube members will join. So if you are interested in joining my mercenary group, first let me say, please first join a faction. Don't join me, join a faction. I'd much rather you join a faction and take part in these grand battles. But if you really want to be in my mercenary group, what I'm gonna do the next couple days, I will be hanging out at Messina. This is the trading hub. So once you create your character, you get into the game, head to Messina. Okay, head to Messina. I'll be hanging out in the trade area, and you can come to me and speak to me, and I will add you to the mercenary group. But again, I can only have 30 people, so first come, first serve. I will be kicking people out who aren't active. That way it's fair to players who are active and they want to take part in the mercenary group. So just come to me, tell me what your name is, I'll put it in, and I will invite you. We have to be in the same server, so you have to get into Messina. It shouldn't be too difficult to find, and that is where you'll find me, and I will add you to the mercenary group, Knights of Apollo. Now, I do want to stress this a lot. The developers of this game are extremely passionate. A lot of these guys took a lot of risks to make this game and are sacrificing everything to get this game going. And that's why I really want to support it, because I just think these guys are genuine. I think these guys really, this is a passion project, and I could just tell by playing the game. So a great way to support is obviously just playing the game, being active, being a part of the experience, and it's not going to be hard because you're going to have fun. But I do also want to note that they do have a Patreon. They didn't ask me to mention it. I just want to, because I really want to see this game continue. I really want to see this game become even more than what it is now, because they're constantly improving it, constantly updating it. So if you guys do want to support their Patreon, they have some cool perks. It's linked. I'll have it in the description. I'll also have it in a pinned comment. Also, if you have any questions, leave a comment, and I'm sure the developers will be in the comments answering questions. I'm sure I didn't explain some things well, so definitely check that out. And of course, you can also support the game by the ROBLOX bucks, or the currency. You can kind of buy cool weapon skins and stuff if you want to support them that way. But again, the best way is the free way, which is just play the game. Just play the game, spread the news, share the hype. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I might see you out there. I might see you out there in this crazy medieval Crusader world. And who knows? Maybe you'll be, at the end of my blade. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So look out for the Knights of Apollo mercenary group. Look out for the Knights of Apollo. But that's about wraps it up, guys. I'm gonna probably do more videos of just kind of showing the shenanigans of what my mercenary group is up to and who we're helping out. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment and I'll try to answer as many as possible. Try out the game, it's really cool, and I will see you there on the battlefield.